My name is Stefan Lucut from Romania, Timișoara, and I got 23 years old, working as a freelancer for the past, let's say, 2 or 3 years. Local clients, I don't know, that's are the smallest one, but it's not good to tell them because you either don't know. But lately clients like Nike, Atomic Ski, let's say Coca-Cola, Haiku, Tank Theory, and let's say Design Collector, Net Diver. This is kind of personal stuff that I'm doing for them. They're friends of mine. But maybe a good challenge for me, as I always thought, the biggest challenge for a graphic designer would be to redesign the signs, traffic signs, I don't know, information signs. So, yeah, probably this will be the challenge for me, to see if I can do better than others did in so many years. I mean, signs are really old, since Rome and so on, and now they got this shape and information on them, and I will definitely try to put them in another way. When I first seen Budapest, it was like, for me, I think I was 12 years old, and I remember that I thought Budapest is a really, really old and historic town that I landed on. And then I started to see a lot of colorful ads on the very, very old buildings that, in my opinion, they don't fit at all, because the building, an old one like this, they got so many years to build it, and they build it in a way, let's say Gothic or whatever. So you cannot come and put, I don't know, grunge design on it. It doesn't really fit, or bring a lot of colorful ads and nonsense chromatic and composition. I mean, I didn't want to say it's a town problem, because it's the client's problem, it's the owner's problem, it's the company's problem. And most of the companies, like big companies, I don't know, you have T-Mobile here, and probably they don't know much about the building, they don't know much about the history of Hungarian, and they just come with their identity, which is pink, and they just put it on every office that they had, and they don't bother if the building is, I don't know, 200 years old, or if it's a new building. They don't try to fit their identity to the building. They try to fit the building into their identity. So I think this is the big problem, and it's not. First of all, it's the company's problem and owners. And second, I think the architect of the city should not sign all the, should not approve all these things, because I think he's responsible for this too. But yeah, it's a world of money, so I think it's just the way it works. Yeah, absolutely, because you see on television they come and talk very nicely about branding, about design, about how to spend money on beautiful things, and then you see in their office very, very badly fit into the architecture of the building and so on. So for me, yeah, it's first their problem, and they should take care of this, and then second is the architect of the city's problem. I mean, yeah, I know they they all wanted to be in the center of the cities, and center of the Budapest is only mostly old buildings and very architectural things, but old. And they want the best place in Budapest, which is this one, the old center, but they don't want to invest and spend money and make maybe a research. As I told you, okay, let's see, we want to hire this building to make a beautiful office, but let's go back in history, let's see who's the architect, what style is it, I don't know, stuff like that. And then let's try to fit our identity and make something really well, I mean, to mix this together and not to ruin the facade of the building. But yeah, for them it's all about pink, blue and red to pop on in your eyes and see the logos and the, I don't know, promotion and all that things. For them doesn't matter if it's ugly, it matters only if it sells the product. So yeah, is it their problem? And I'm not saying it, all the big companies are doing this, because I've seen and I've shown you some of the good things and well-made, integrated in the architecture of the buildings. So yeah, that show us it can be done better and it can be look good. Oh yeah. Only on a few buildings, and then on the other historical buildings they just throw up their red and white logo and that's it. Yeah, experimental design and graphic design, I think it's the, let's call it the sketch of a good design. I found experimental very, very useful for every designer, even if he's, I don't know, product designer, chair designer, car designer. If you are not experimenting with materials, with papers, with Photoshop, okay, you cannot see what are your borders, and then immediately you cannot push your skills and borders forward, you know. So yeah, experimental design, it's good for find out where you can go, where you are, where you can go, and what you can do for a real project and for a real client. And most of my works are, let's say, 80% experimental. Then the brand manager came and say, okay, Stefan, now we need to put the logo somewhere, and this is the brand book. Let's fit it into this experimental thing because we love it, okay? And now let's put the logo and the information like in the brand book. That's why it's 80% experimental. But most of the time they ask me to push the border. Stefan, go crazy, do what you feel, do what you want, and then we will see how to put the rest of the identity and logos and information on it. And this is lately because I thought, okay, when I will work with Nike, for example, it will be for me a pain in the ass, because I thought, okay, Nike, it's a big brand, so it will have like this book brand this big, and it will be boring to read it, to try to fit their identity to my work and stuff like that. Probably they will give me such a big brief and stuff, but actually my first project with Nike was like, okay, Stefan, we love what you do, and we want just to remember these three words: crazy, dynamic, and colorful. And then we will try. So remember these words. We will try to integrate the brand into your work. So it's a reverse step of what I was thinking about. And then you work with a small client, a neighborhood client, let's call it, a little one, and he go like crazy. Oh, you do not respect my brand. You know, all that shit. So. Actually, yeah, and it's not the only brand. But yeah, Nike respect the artist. I mean, they don't work for shoes, for example, with one single designer. They hire a lot of designers, mostly because they want to be fresh on the market and to be trendsetters. So they do this with graphic designer too. They hire designers. I think it's an opportunity to work for 2 or 3 or 5 times with Nike, because after that they will change you. They always change designers and styles and stuff like that. And yeah, they are really open-minded, and all they wanted is to put your imprint on their brand. This is what they matter for them. I mean, they told me, okay, Stefan, sign the artwork, but not real signature. Sign it in your style, put your imprint on it, and then we will put the brand, our brand on it, and that's it. So yeah, they respect so much the artist. I was surprised because, okay, I'm not such a big star, and I'm not a star. I just have 23 years old, and they respect me because they wanted to work with me, and they respect me as an artist doing something for them. Yeah,
Which is
here are 2 chapters, let's say, because you can have a small client, which could be a pain in the ass for you because he wanted to put his imprint on it, and he tried to explain you what is good for him to have, and not letting you to explain him, okay, we should do this because, you know, he tried to explain you what if we put green instead of blue. You put blue and he wants green, and so on. But there are a lot of clients like that, especially in Romania. And on the other side, they either pay really cheap. So for me, it's not affordable to listen to some bullshits from a small client and be paid cheap. So I'm not working with these guys anymore. But I'm working with small clients also, but let's say the clients that came to you and say, okay, Stefan, we have only, let's say, 1,000 euro, and we want to make a really nice poster and let you do it whatever you feel it. And that's the good clients from the small part of the industry. So this is the 2 versions of the small clients, and the big clients are the same, or the big scale. No, not at all. But I've heard that, and I can feel it. I can see that is nothing conceptual there, and nothing crazy, nothing experimental. Just need to sell the credit, for example, because we are talking about the bank. So I can imagine that they are really tight with the creativity. So we can only go that way, and that's it. I've made some custom skateboards, or lately for Atomic Ski, some custom skis for women's latest collection from Atomic, and they are the same, open-minded. I mean, they really know their clients, their target, so they can give you free creativity to go crazy with the graphics. And musical events also are really, I feel really good when I start designing some posters for a music event, because there is also the poster should be crazy on the wall. I mean, you need to the poster need to pop up from the others, because that's how you attract the visitors. So yeah, this part of the events, let's say not the only music, but the events in general. And I also had the Bubble Center series of posters, which is a multi-language school. So they are a private school where you can learn whatever language you want. And they are also, when they come to us, it was made with Atelier 105, and when they come to us, they say, we just need something fresh on the market, because all the others learning schools, private, they have a picture with a girl with a book in the hand and a blue box, where they put the text and the logo in the right, and that's it. So they look all the same, even if they are from different schools. And we want something to break this, let's say, trend. They had a huge impact locally. No one was ever seen something like this. Yeah, the first thing I've got was a website for me, a domain, and yeah, a website. After that, I joined the DevCore community, DevCore, which is the biggest digital art community on the internet. And from there to the other sites, it was like 5 minutes, because when I entered the DevCore, I got the information, the knowledge, where to advertise myself, where to go, where to upload some artworks and stuff like that. So the internet is really, really powerful these days. And as I told you, for a freelancer designer, it sells the designer for me for, let's say, 70%, because you know, you're not a big agency with a big name like such and such, and the client will not come to knock on your door because you don't have the address. Anyway, it's your address where you live, and you are not working yet with big brands like such and such. So they will research for freelancer designers, graphic designers, and so on. So, and the internet is the biggest, let's say, aggregator thing on everyone's hands. I mean, I think at the beginning, when I started to make the networking, I had a lot of negative comments, but a few good comments, let's say, but nothing constructive. I mean, all the comments were like, if they were good, were like, wow, man, this is awesome, blah, 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 and they were bad, oh, I've seen that before, this is so awful, and stuff like that. So, but when you grow up, when you, I don't know, get a feature on a big website, let's say Computer Love or Behance, or if you get a feature on a magazine, Digital Arts, Computer Arts, then the negative comments disappear, just like that. So you only get the good ones. Oh, this is a big designer. We should kiss him ass. So from now on, awesome job, fantastic, nice, beautiful. Only these comments. So, but the community itself gives you feedback, because you see another guy from the network that is on the wave and he's featured all the internet, and then you go and talk to him, only talk, don't ask feedback, or talk to him. Maybe you just work for an experimental stuff together and you learn. and you get feedback immediately, and you don't realize at the moment, but you grow up like that. So I grew up like that with the others from the community, working together, collaborating for only I don't know, crappy things like making a monster together, and they've never been on the internet, but we learned so hard because we've passed the PSD or the Illustrator file, and I can see how he's made the things, and he can see how I made the things. So you learn in that way. Right. So it's very good to be in the network, in the community, to have friends, to communicate, to work with them, not on a projects, money-based or stuff like that, but it's good to be there in the circle. Yeah, after the 4 years of architecture high school, I studied architecture, and in my last year, I need to make up my mind where I wanted to go, and I did my last project on architecture, and the teacher was telling me, okay, Stefan, you are talented, but your buildings will never stay up. They always will fall because this shape cannot be supported by the structure or whatever. But the buildings look good, but you can use this as a graphic artist, he told me. And I was, okay, so I'm not good as an architect. No, okay, but I need to find something else. And when I started to think about that, I already got the computer for 2 years, and it was the internet era and the website era. And yeah, I tried to research what can I do if I know to paint, I know to draw. What can I do? But I don't want to do it old school because I was really bored. Okay, let's try something else. And I discovered this on the internet, mostly on Russian websites, because they are really big in the community of designers, graphic designers. So yeah, I found about them on Design Collector. It was probably the first site I landed on. And yeah, I found out a lot. I researched how can I do something like this, what tools do I need and stuff like that. And yeah, I was then I was make up my mind and go to the University of Design. I failed, and then tried again. In 3 months, I was approved, and that was it. But never finished the university anyway. Anyway, universities in Romania are really bad. Because we don't have. I think graphic design has moved up for the last let's say 10 years, but we don't have teachers to learn graphic design. We only have painters who try to learn new graphic design, but they don't know anything about graphic design. So you can imagine how good is the university in Romania. That's why I didn't find it as a challenge. So it was like a bored day every day for 3 years at the university. I will launch a few personal projects on the internet, which I think will help the community of designers, mostly the Eastern European graphic design, because here's a poor, it's a lack of information, and I don't know, I think it's a lack of enthusiasm, let's say. And yeah, I'm going to Vienna on the Design Week. I'll be there from the 5th of October to 12th. But I will perform with a video from Synopsis on the 7th, I think, or 8th of October. The whole day we will be there and do experimental stuff. So people could come and interact with us. I hope to meet a lot of graphic designers there, and as I told you, this change of information and experience is very useful, and it's powerful for your creativity later. We will have all the tools to do whatever we want. We will have the computer, printer, scanner, pencils, markers, papers, so we can do a mixture of them. What we feel is better for us, we will use, and just experimental stuff. We don't have a topic or stuff like that. We just and yeah, I told you, it's the first time when two graphic designers entered together in that in this project. So I'm really glad that Ovidiu invited me to participate on this with him. I got a lot of respect for him, and it's one of the, in my opinion, it's one of the biggest graphic designers in Romania. And yeah, it's a pleasure to work with him there, and it's a pleasure to experiment actually with him. And yeah, after I will finish my university, just for my parents to have a kid with a degree. I plan to move. I hope to be able to move on Luxembourg, because I think from Europe, as far as I've seen, because I didn't see all Europe, but I think Luxembourg fits well to my necessities, I don't know, needs, creativity and stuff like that. But it's not a certain thing. I mean, I would love to live in Budapest for 2 years, for example. I would love to live in Sweden, for example, but not to stay there for life. I would want to stay for the rest of my life in Luxembourg, but in the rest I would want to live in some certain countries that I found them very inspiring and beautiful. And that's a good thing for me, because at this moment, being a freelancer, you can take your bag with the laptop on it and all the project and just go, because mostly you work on the internet, so it's not a big thing. But from the Eastern Europe, yeah, I think yeah. I mean, and even if you don't know graphic designer from here, but when you start traveling and you see Bucharest, you see Budapest, you see, I don't know, Moldova, Serbia, Montenegro, whatever, from the East European part of the Europe, you realize that Budapest is the most well represented city for the graphic design. And as I told you, not because I know a lot of graphic designers here, but only if you walk on the street, you can see posters, one of them really good, ads, websites from here, logos from here on the internet. So yeah, for me it's the capital of graphic design in the Eastern Europe. Yeah, I feel like, and probably because I think there are a lot of others, graphic designers from the other countries that came here and work here, because it's a big city. It's very well extended as an economy or whatever. Okay, we are not talking about the crisis now, but so it's a powerful city where you can find a job if you are a good designer. So yeah, probably this is another reason, being a big city and also a beautiful city, because if you're a graphic designer, you love to live in a beautiful city. You want to be in the center, you want to be in the best pubs ever, you want to travel, you want to see beautiful things. So this is another reason that probably Budapest became, in my opinion, the center of graphic design.